And I give the floor to Mrs. Marlene Mizzi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Designate, on the 1st of March, in the presence of President Barroso, artists, scientists and intellectuals signed the declaration on the new narrative for Europe, which outlined why Europe matters and why we have to fight against nationalism and populism. The declaration, The Mind and Body of Europe, defines Europe as a state of mind, as a moral and politically responsibility shared by citizens across the continent, attracted to Europe by its common values and principles. This project is rooted in its shared values of peace, freedom, democracy and rule of law. So my question in the light of this declaration is this, split into two. How will you ensure that European values representing European citizens' rights will be safeguarded in all member states? That's my first question. And my second question is, what concrete measures will you take if member states are violating universal human rights and freedoms recognized by the European Charter of Fundamental Human Rights, such as freedom of expression? Thank you.
The initiative, the new narrative for Europe, was extremely important, and I don't think that it should be a one-off event or a one-off document, because the people who got together and compiled this document represented the intellectual life of Europe, and I think that we need them in the future as well when we talk about the future of European integration and what contours it should assume. So we need to look at what should be done if a member state violates universal human rights. There is a legal framework in place. I think our situation is good because we have instruments at our disposal if we feel that human rights have been violated in a member state, because we have the Council of Europe, we've got the Court of Human Rights in Strasbourg, where you can take a case to court if a violation has occurred. So what we've seen is that we currently have an effective system and set of mechanisms that protect and defend human rights, so that if anyone has a grievance, then they can take action to tackle it. So I think that this is a kind of debate that's going to continue in the future as well, but I believe that if an individual or a community in Europe feels that their rights have been violated, there are instruments at their disposal to seek legal redress.
I'll give the floor to Therese Comodini Cachia, representing EPP and the Culture Committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Designate, it seems there is agreement that among its first political priorities, the Commission must give new stimulus to job creation and economic growth. How are you planning to contribute to the educational systems in order to generate economic growth in Europe? How will you, as Commissioner, contribute to the mobility of young people, to the development of their skills and also to their employability? Also, concerning the Youth Guarantee that was explicitly designed to tackle youth unemployment, it is noted that by September 2014, only 2 member states had started making use of these funds. The biggest problem is not the availability of funds, but the slow and inefficient use of available funds by member states. What will be your approach to solve this situation? Thank you.
Dank u wel, mevrouw.
Thank you very much. Education and the labour market and the need to bring them closer together, that is a crucial issue. And it's something we need to focus on during this commission. We need to focus more on it than has been done in the past. It's more than just symbolic that the competence for vocational education and adult education has been shifted to DG Employment. That means that this is really a point of concern. Education has to do with the labor market, and we have to keep that in mind. We know that there are some education people who are not keen on it. They say education is something completely separate, but certainly when it comes to vocational training and adult education, we have to make sure there's a better link to the labor market. And I think that shifting it to DG Employment ensures that there's more knowledge about this. When it comes to the youth initiative, we know that these funds have had a slow start. We've given the member states the opportunity to submit programs quicker than the others. We've already have something from Italy and France. I think Lithuania is ready as well, and Spain has come up with something which needs a bit more work. But there are means available from the previous budget which can be implemented. We have the youth action programs that are still ongoing. We're trying to streamline them. And then we're obviously going to do our very best to make sure that the budget available for the next programming period is used and used effectively for the proper objectives to ensure structural change so that young people can have better opportunities.